One thing that I can guarantee you is that if you quit the gas and you put down the blunts, your life will change in a way that your brain can't even fathom right now. And the reason why your brain can't fathom it right now is because your brain is so used to being fried that you forgot what it felt like to be sober. Now, it took me 5 years. 5 years of me trying to actually quit smoking weed until I got full control over my addiction. So this video is going to be a compilation of 5 years of me trying to quit smoking weed condensed into a short video. But now, firstly, why should you quit going to the gas station? Well, to simply put it, right now your brain chemistry is fucked up. Your brain chemistry is mush and you don't even know it. It takes people years and years and years of smoking to actually realize this, because a lot of people just don't have the self-awareness to understand this or realize this is happening to them. But your brain chemistry is fucked up right now. Basically, what you're doing to yourself when you smoke a bunch of weed every single day is you're imbalancing and you're jumbling up your brain chemistry. Because when you smoke weed, what you're doing is you're producing chemicals like dopamine and serotonin. Now, when you smoke weed, you feel good, which is the exact reason why you're smoking every single day. But what happens when we actually feel good off of smoking weed? What we're doing is we're skyrocketing our dopamine levels and our serotonin levels within our brain. And when you skyrocket your dopamine levels, that is not good. Because the thing about dopamine is that dopamine is a chemical in your brain that's responsible for feeling good / motivation. And what happens when you artificially induce some sort of chemical within your body or within your brain? It's exactly like taking steroids, because when you take steroids, what you're doing is you're injecting testosterone in yourself, and then your body basically says, hey, like there's a bit too much here. We got to dial it back a bit. We're already getting so much of this artificial testosterone within my body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop producing testosterone. So your body stops producing natural testosterone. It's the same exact thing with dopamine and serotonin. When you're artificially inducing a bunch of dopamine within your brain, your dopamine receptors become dull. And what you're doing when you're smoking weed is you're skyrocketing your dopamine and serotonin levels to a crazy amount, because one, when you smoke weed, it feels good. So you're producing dopamine, the feel-good chemical. And two, what do you do after you smoke weed? Like, don't lie, you're doing more dopamine-inducing things. You're going on the internet watching some like adult videos, if you know what I'm saying. You're eating junk food. You're watching movies. You're doing more dopamine-inducing things, playing video games, whatever it is. And what happens when you skyrocket your dopamine to a crazy amount is it goes super high and then it crashes down below its natural baseline. It's kind of like this. Let's say your dopamine levels are at a level 0 right now. You smoke weed, it goes up to a positive 50. And then what happens, it crashes down below to negative 20. That's why you feel like shit on the come down, because that's your dopamine receptors crashing on you. So you need to smoke again to feel good, because that's you bringing your dopamine levels back up to the place where it should be at. So right now your dopamine levels and serotonin levels are mush. Your brain chemistry is fucked up right now. And this is the exact reason why you can't operate when you're sober. This is why you feel like shit when you're sober. This is why you need to smoke weed before you do anything, before you eat, before you go to the mall, before you hang out with friends, because your brain lacks the chemicals that it needs to operate properly. Dopamine is a chemical in your brain that's responsible for motivation. So without weed, you have no motivation. This is why you think you're more productive when you smoke weed, but you're not actually more productive. Your brain just lacks the chemical that it needs to be productive, which is motivation. So if you think you're a functional stoner, you're just bullshitting yourself, because your brain literally just lacks the chemicals that it needs to operate. So you need to supplement those chemicals with artificial chemicals that you're getting from smoking weed. And again, this is the exact reason why you feel like shit when you're sober. This is why you can't operate without smoking weed. Your brain is literally addicted to smoking weed and it can't operate without it. So you're basically an addict. You're kind of like a crackhead on the streets who's feeding for fentanyl because they can't operate without it. So what happens when you quit smoking weed? What happens is your brain chemistry, it rebalances itself. Your dopamine and serotonin levels go back to normal. So now you don't need to rely on weed to get those dopamine hits. Natural things within your life, like going out for a walk, getting sunlight, gives you these natural dopamine spikes. Talking to people gives you natural dopamine spikes. You get your motivation back. You get your drive back. You get more energy. You just feel alive again. You kind of feel like a child. You feel like a kid again, because kids have natural brain chemistry that's not fucked up. So they can actually operate normally. You just kind of have this like calm sense of happiness and just vibrance about you. When someone quits smoking weed, you can automatically tell, because they're kind of out of this like daze that they're in. They're kind of out of this like staring off into space mode. They just feel more vibrant. They feel more connected. They just have this more like aura about them. I don't want to say aura because that's kind of corny, but like they just have this more like presence to them. Now, how do you actually quit smoking weed and take full control over your usage? But before I mention that, I just need to mention this real quick. Right now, my 8-week program to quit smoking weed is free. Click the link in the description and you'll get it for free. What it is, it's a program that essentially takes you like step by step, holds you by the hand and helps you take full control over your weed usage and full control over your addiction. By the end of the program, I actually make people smoke if they want. It's optional. So they can show themselves that they actually change and that they actually have full control over their usage. So right now it's free. This is usually a paid thing, but right now I'm making it free so I could get more like testimonials and so I could get more like beta testers on the program. So the price is not gonna it's not gonna be free forever. The price is gonna go up, and right now it's only free for a certain amount of members who join. So join right now so you could actually get your spot and get this for free. Right now it's free, so join it. Click the link in the description below. But anyways, how do you quit smoking weed? How do you take full control over your usage and full control over your addiction? To simplify it in its simplest form and to condense it down in the shortest amount of words possible, what you need to do is you need to outgrow your addiction instead of using willpower to stop. Because the thing is, willpower will never, ever, ever work. Why? Because willpower is a finite source. You do not have an infinite amount of willpower. One day you could have poor sleep and your willpower will be less. One day you could get into a fight with your family or your girlfriend. Your willpower will be less. And what will happen? You will smoke weed. Every single person I know that said that they're going to quit smoking weed, they always go back to smoking weed at least once. Every single person. Not one person hasn't done this, unless it's a person who like gets some sort of freaking psychosis from smoking weed and it just fucks them up that bad. But every single person that says that's addicted to smoking weed, who's been smoking for a long time, they say they're gonna quit, and then what happens? They end up smoking again eventually. Now, that's not the problem. Smoking again once after you quit is not the problem. But the problem is that they could quit for about 3 to 4 weeks, maybe sometimes even like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. But what happens when they smoke again that one time? It re-triggers something within their brain. That's like, oh shit, yeah, this is nice. Maybe I could get away with smoking every weekend, just once in the weekend. And then it turns into every single day. And this has happened to you. So this is why willpower doesn't work, because these people, they use willpower. They're freaking scratching themselves like a crackhead fentanyl addict. Like, oh man, I just can't smoke the blunt. No, not today. But they want to. They want to. So what happens when they do? They get peer pressured by their friends, whatever, an occasion arises where they end up smoking again. It always happens. That's not anything to be ashamed of. It happens, and it will happen if you're going to quit smoking weed. They end up smoking again, and then it ends up re-triggering their addiction, and a full-blown addiction develops again. It literally happened to me for 5 years straight. But this is why I say that you need to outgrow your addiction, because when you outgrow your addiction, you generally get to a place where you don't even want to smoke. Me right now, I don't want to smoke. Like, I do not care to smoke weed at all. I have no urge or desire in my body to smoke weed again in my life. And the thing is too, is that I will still smoke maybe like once or twice a year, but I have full control over my usage. Like, I don't have this yearning or emotional connection or attachment to smoking weed. Like, even though I still smoke like once or twice a year, I'll do it on like a special occasion, maybe at a party or something like that, just for shits and giggles. I don't feel the urge to smoke. I don't care about smoking. You need to get yourself to the place where you're in that mental framework of someone who doesn't need to smoke weed. There's zero resistance at all. When someone offers you a blunt, you're just like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't feel like smoking weed. You're not like, oh man, I want to, but no, I can't. I'm trying to quit smoking. No, you generally get to the place where you just don't want to smoke weed. And this is why I say that you need to outgrow your addiction. Now, what does this actually mean? By outgrowing your addiction, what you need to do is you need to develop yourself in all different forms of your life. Develop your mental, develop your physical, develop your spirituality. And what will happen, you will outgrow the urge to smoke weed. You will outgrow that person that needed to smoke weed for fulfillment. Because right now, the reason why you're addicted to smoking weed is because you have this like hole within your body or hole within your being that needs to be filled by weed. Maybe it's some sort of emotional attachment to weed. Maybe the reason why you're smoking weed is because you're trying to escape something. You're trying to have some sort of emotional escape, so you run to weed. You don't want to face certain emotions that you're dealing with. You don't want to face certain life problems that you want to deal with, so you end up smoking weed. Because when you smoke weed, it takes all your problems away. When you smoke that blunt, all your problems go away. You're not thinking about anything within that moment. So what you need to do is you need to grow yourself to the point where you don't feel the urge to smoke weed anymore. And what will happen when you go an extended period without smoking weed and you're actually developing yourself is you will feel so good that you don't have any urge in your body to smoke because you're already fulfilled in life. So weed isn't going to give you extra fulfillment. You need to develop yourself and get to the next stage in your life. And then when you get to that point, you will look back at smoking weed and you'll be like, oh shit, like this is something that I just don't need to do. It's the same exact thing when you outgrow playing a video game. You look back at that video game, you're like, oh yeah, it was a cool game, like I don't know why I stopped playing it, but I just got bored of it. Like I just don't feel like playing it anymore. I kind of got bored of it. Like a lot of you probably played Fortnite or played Minecraft. You probably don't play it anymore. Why? Because you kind of got bored of it. It's the same exact thing as weed. When you move on to better things in life, when you're actually developing yourself as a person, you feel fulfillment, and it's so exciting that you don't need the fulfillment that you get from weed, because that's essentially what weed is. It's just artificial fulfillment. So what you need to do is you need to actively start developing yourself, start improving yourself. And then what will happen is you will naturally shed the person that was addicted to smoking weed, and then you will grow into someone that doesn't need weed. Because the thing is that people who try to quit smoking weed when using just willpower alone is that they don't change as a person. So you could lock them in a cell. You could lock them in prison for 6 months. And then after they come out of that prison cell, they're going to go straight back to smoking weed again. Why? Because they're the same exact person. They didn't develop themselves or grow as a person within that cell. They're the same exact person. Their life was just on pause. But when they come out of the cell, they're going straight back to smoking weed every single day because they're the same exact person. But if you're to abstain from weed and grow yourself as a person, what will happen is you will change and you won't be the person that needs it anymore. You need to shift your mental framework to one where you just see weed as something that's cool to do, kind of like drinking. Like I'm assuming that you don't drink every single day. Like I'm assuming that you only drink at parties, or you only drink, whenever there's some sort of special event going on. Why can't weed be the same thing? Because you have some sort of subconscious emotional attachment to weed, and you need to figure out what the fuck that is and deal with it. So here are some actionable steps that you can actually take. Start going to the gym, start meditating, start reading books, start adding new good habits within your life. I'm not saying that you need to quit smoking weed right now, but once you add these habits within your life, you can still smoke weed while you're doing this. Once you add these habits within your life, what's going to happen is that these good habits are kind of going to outweigh the bad habits, and the bad habits are naturally just going to fall away. So start going to the gym, start meditating, start reading books, start developing yourself, start developing your mental. Maybe go to therapy or some shit. I don't know. Like I never went to therapy, but maybe that's something that could help you. Just get yourself to the point where you're developing yourself, and what will happen is you'll feel so good that you don't even need to smoke weed anymore. The desire to smoke weed will just fade. Or if you want to speed run this whole process, just click the link in the description below. It'll bring you to the free 8-week program. It's free right now. It's not going to be free forever. So if you're watching this video and you don't do that now, then nothing I can tell you. It's going to be paid later, but whatever.